here's the thing about dream clinics. And this is so exciting because a lot of times, I don't know if you feel this way, but I think, I visited this many times in my journey. It's like, I just feel like I'm a nobody. I'm just a normal human being. Not that I think that I'm normal in the sense that I can relate to other people like everybody else seems to relate to other people. No, 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 no. I just feel like, I'm just a Joe in a biosuit on this planet trying to figure life out, and there's nothing really all that special about that. There's things, yes, that come really easy to me, and there's other things that don't come easy to me. And who am I, right? And what happens is that in the dream clinics, you get to realize really how vast you are. And it's not just your own realization of that. You get to discover that in a group of people discovering that. So it's not just you realizing, oh my gosh, I am so much more vast than I ever possibly, thought that it could actually be this way. But then you also have a group of people who are been training and tracking for quite some time that validate that experience with their witness. And that is really, really, really powerful when you have a group of people witnessing ourselves, you and I, in this way. Okay. It's really, really powerful. It's life-changing in the way that downloads can be life-changing. It just takes some time to whittle away the ideas of who we think we are, because we get really attached to this biosuit and the story of who we are. An example would be, say you're at dinner and someone says, so, usually depending on what kind of culture you're in, if you're in the South, they're going to ask you what church you go to. If you're in New England, they're going to ask you what school you went to, as in college. And if you're in the Midwest, they're going to ask you what you do, right? And I don't spend much time in California, Oregon, and Washington, so I don't know what their culture is. But those are the three main ways that people begin wanting to get to know you, what they say. And of course, if you are really proud of your job or your education, you're going to go down the line of that, and you're going to talk about that. But starseeds have a real hard time answering questions like that, because we're just like, what I do has nothing to do with who I am, and we instinctively want to shift the conversation to, what do you find interesting? What did you do that was cool today? Or, you know what I mean? We want to change this. It's because we're all trained to identify with who we think we are when we're in the mirror. When you're in the mirror and you try and explain that person in the mirror, you're saying, all right, I was born here, I went to school there, my mom is this, my dad is that, I do this, I have kids, I'm married, I'm not married, I'm a Baptist, I'm a lesbian, I'm a whatever, any of those things. Whatever label you find just is attractive for you to identify yourself as, those are all the things of who you think you are. It's not actually who you are. It's the way you define yourself to yourself, and then to others, of course. Right? Going back into the Dream Clinic is a very graceful way to discover these parts of yourself. And when you have the power of witness, it's one of those things that once you see it, once you experience it, once you feel it, you can't unsee it. You can't unexperience it. You can't unfeel it. Now, you might have some programming that wants to plow it over, paint it over with a veil, but you can't unsee it once it happens. And it's really, really cool. And it also helps show us when we have a lot of resistance to a more vast part of ourselves trying to step forward in our lives. So, it works both ways. It's like you discover that vast self, and you also see what's in the way of that vast self, right? So it's a really, really potent tool to accelerate your liberation, your sovereignty. It's accelerate your true self, and of course, tracking energy and all that other stuff, which I know a lot of people are super attracted to that, which totally I can see why, because it's super fun, especially you do it in groups. And it's very effective and it's very empowering. So yes, but I downplay it in the sense that it's kind of like, it's a really fun part of the curriculum, but it's not the thing that's going to create massive transformation in your life. It's like it can and it will do things. But once you wake up to the vastness piece and the power of Dreamtime, then it's kind of like that all becomes a side note. You realize that you can touch the vast infinite part of you every single night. if you so choose. And that's a game changer of this reality, because you recognize, number one, this reality on some level, this vast level of self, this reality is kind of a joke. You realize that it's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal for those of us because we have a purpose here. You know, there's a reason why we've incarnated. It was really a lot of work to get incarnated. It was even more work to figure out how to work these biosuits and live and not, you know, fall off a cliff or get in a car accident or commit suicide or overdose, or, I mean, there's so many pitfalls to being in a body, right? There's so many things. So, you know, there's a lot of work involved. So there's that kind of comes with, you know, this feeling of importance. But when you're in touch with that vast aspect of yourself, it puts all this into perspective. And then life becomes play. The unknown is not scary anymore. It's actually exciting. And that is where the rubber meets the road for me. In the beginning, it used to be getting people to learn how to track and let go of the things they're, you know, help unwind blind spots so they can actually track. That's where I was about 10 years ago. But now with the dream work, this is where I'm at with the dream work. The la creme de la creme is that interconnected aspect that is an unshakable presence in your consciousness. So truly this reality gets framed up in a way that is the liberating process, or is a liberating experience. You see what I mean? There's a huge difference